Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at both the differences in specs and physicality and everything else in the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro. On my left side I have the iPhone 12 and on the right you have the iPhone 12 Pro. Okay, so let's start off with the physicality. So let's just look at the physicality. So screen wise, exactly the same. Both are 5.1. So there you go. The notch is exactly the same size as well. All right, there's no differences in the notch. The power button is on the same side as well. Looking on the other side, the volume rocker and the volume buttons are on the same side. Top's exactly the same. And the bottom, you'll have the exact same design as well. Right, looking at the back of both the phones. Okay, so first things first, you'll notice the iPhone 12 lacks a third camera and also another little black dot where the LiDAR sensor lies, which helps in autofocusing and augmented reality apps and things like that. It calculates and measures your room, the distance. Okay, so that's the main difference. And the extra lens that the iPhone 12 Pro sports, that helps in the telephoto, which zooms twice. Now you have digital zoom on the iPhone 12, whereas the 2x zoom on the Pro is optical. Okay, and the differences between that is digital, you just basically grab the photo and stretch it, whereas optical, you actually have a zoomed in lens. Okay, so other than that, now let's look at the sides. You'll notice the iPhone 12, which is here, has a shiny, whereas the iPhone 12 has a matte bezel, let's say. And now that's due to it having an aluminum side, and this has stainless steel. Okay, they're both in blue. Okay, so they're calling it different blues. So that's a blue and that's a Pacific blue. Now that's the only difference. Is you'll also see the Apple logo is a lot different. On this it's a bluish kind of thing, whereas here it's just shiny. Now also the differences in physicality is, as you'll see, other than the bezels, you'll see the back, that's matte and this is gloss. And also the camera cutout are swapped over, so this is matte and that's gloss. So let's have a bit of a closer look at that. So looking at that and this one, there you go. All right, other than that, the camera and everything else is the same. They both got fast charging as well. All right, let's go into the next part of this video where we break down the iPhones and what's the differences in them, such as the internals. So let's get into the internals, okay, and other stuff other than the main visual physicalities of the phone. So I'm looking at the Pacific blue and the blue one that I've showed you guys physicalities already. I've got iPhone 11 Pro as well there, just with the midnight green. I don't know why they did that color. That was a silly color. Anyways, the starting price between these two are quite different. There is about $350 difference in that. However, the 12 Pro does start off with 128 gigs, whereas the 12 starts at 64. But for an $80 difference, you can get 128 gig for the 12 as well, which brings the difference down to under $300. Now, to start off with, they both have the exact same screen. The back, yes, you've got a telephoto lens. Now, a lot of people on YouTube are saying, oh, the iPhone 12 has a 4x telephoto lens. It doesn't. It has a 2x telephoto lens. What they're doing is they're counting the ultra wide lens as like a 1, then the normal lens as a 2x, and then the telephoto would be a 4x. Whereas it's more of a 0.5, whereas like when you go ultra wide. So there you go. So other than that, recording, when it's available, Dolby Vision HDR video would be recorded up to, in 4K, would be recorded up to 60 frames per second in the Pro, whereas it'll be 30 seconds frames per second on the 12. The only difference you'll see on the screen is brightness, not HDR display brightness, but normal brightness. It's a tiny bit dimmer on the 12. Now, other than that, that's all the same. You'll have the LiDAR sensor as well, which helps with autofocus in low light and dark time and helps it be 6 times faster. And also you'll have portrait mode in the night time as well, plus also having that AR experience that they're speaking about, which I have still to this day not used at all. Okay, other than that, that's basically it. They both charge up to 15 watts fast charging for MagSafe. So that's the starting capacities. So the iPhone 12 goes up to 256, whereas the 12 Pro goes to 512. Other than that, looking at the brightness, if you look over here, so that's 625 brightness peak, and the other one is 800. But that is the HDR. If you've got the HDR display turned on, that's the exact same. The resolution, the pixel density, everything like that is absolutely the same. Now let's get on to the physical side of things. They're exactly the same. Everything, height, width, depth. The only main difference you'll notice is quite substantial is the grams. The iPhone 12 is only 162 grams, which is quite nice, whereas the Pro goes with 187, and it is quite noticeable, especially when you drop that phone in bed, when you're checking your phone and you drop it on your face. The IP rating is the same. The chip, that's the most important thing. The chip is exactly the same. It's a very powerful, it's got 4-core GPU in there as well. It's a very powerful chip. So both of the A14, and most importantly, they have the same amount of RAM, which is quite low, I have to say, which is what let the iPhone 11 Pro down and made it not that future proof, and it was out of date already before the year finished. So the RAMs are a bit disappointing, but there's no differences in there. So you'll see also another difference is Apple Pro RAW. Okay, so it records in Apple Pro RAW, which is for editors and things like that. If you don't do that, you're not going to see much of a difference. The cameras are basically the exact same thing. Obviously, because of the LiDAR sensor, they've limited the iPhone 12 to no night mode portraits, but I'm a bit sus about that with Apple. You know, they do things like that, like night mode is only this and that. They always take some, otherwise nobody will buy their phones. Why would they upgrade if they have all the software updates on the other ones as well? Other than that, slow-mo and everything like that, everything, image stabilization, all of them are exactly the same. And what they got was stereo recording as well, which is they both have it now. Now let's move on to the cameras. So the cameras, all of them offer exactly the same. Like I said, the only thing is recording in Dolby Vision is up to 30 frames per second in HDR. And let's move on. Animoji and all that, both of them get 5G networking, Face ID and things like that. So there's not much difference in them. The main difference, I feel like it, is the weight. That makes such a big difference. Now in here they're saying that basically both the iPhones should have the same battery life. It's not the case. The iPhone 12 Pro has a bigger battery and it does last a lot longer. Not a lot longer, but quite a bit of a difference. Like you can feel the difference. I've used it quite a few times. Other than that, they're basically exactly the same. So there you go. Everything they're saying is the same. But yeah. All right. So that's basically it for the differences. Barometer, they all get all that, and they get the lightning charger only with it. Okay guys, thanks for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you aren't subscribed, please do subscribe, give it a like, and follow us on Patreon as well, and support us to see more content. Thank you. Bye.